Professor Stephen Hawking may have left this world before the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope. Despite this, many hours of the latest space telescope will be used to validate some of the late physicists' hypotheses. One of these theories was Hawking's final project just 10 days before his death. In the paper, he advocated for a multiverse theory that states that a parallel universe has an exact copy of you. Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be telling you about Stephen's theory and how the James Webb Telescope is proving it. Stephen Hawking passed away in 2018, more than 3.5 years before the James Webb Space Telescope launch. This was due to a series of delays that pushed the debut date back from 2007 to 2011. It also devoured $10 billion, almost 10 times the original budget. However, this massive space telescope will be calibrated and tested for several months before going to work after a successful launch and deployment of its components. Because of the 6.5-meter mirror, which had to be folded during launch, the telescope will be able to look into the atmospheres of worlds beyond our solar system. It has the ability to peer through enormous dust clouds to observe the formation of planetary systems and new stars. The telescope will also be able to collect and give light from the beginning of the universe, and will be able to examine light from the first galaxies and stars close to the Big Bang, which is expected to be roughly 13.8 billion years old. The James Webb Telescope is an infrared telescope, which means it detects objects in space using infrared light. It can see celestial bodies like stars, planets, and nebulae that are very cool or faint to be seen in visible light, which is what the human eye can see. Infrared radiation may also travel through dust and gas, according to NASA, which looks opaque to the naked eye. On the other hand, the Hubble Space Telescope sees ultraviolet radiation, visible light, and near-infrared radiation. The instruments must be kept at extremely low temperatures to function. The big sunscreen shields the telescope from the sun's heat and helps to keep it cool. There were 344 single-point steps or failures that required to work for the mission to succeed, according to a study issued by an independent review board in 2018. On the other hand, the telescope was safely launched from the European Space Agency's spaceport in French Guiana, hidden inside the nose of an Ariane 5 rocket. It went live in December of 2021. After the launch, it detached itself from the rocket and began to unfold. About 30 minutes after the launch, the initial deployment took place as the solar panels opened, allowing the telescope to draw power from the sun. As NASA says, many astronomers are vying for time with JWST because of its capabilities. The Space Telescope Science Institute, which supervises Hubble and the James Webb Telescope science operations, had issued a request for proposals from astronomers on how they would like to use James Webb, with a total of 6,000 hours of observation time up for grabs. The fortunate ones have now gained approval for their initiatives, and we eagerly await the wealth of information they will provide. With nearly 20 years of operation endured by the amount of fuel aboard a space telescope, the JWST has plenty of time to unravel the deep secrets of the universe. Now it's time to confirm one of Hawking's most intriguing theories, the multiverse concept. Now that the JWST has arrived safely at its destination at roughly 1 million kilometers from Earth, the idea is noteworthy because it is the professor's most recent publication. Just 10 days before his death, the brilliant mind's final study was published in a paper titled Smooth Exit from Eternal Inflation, which he co-wrote with Thomas Hertog, the Catholic University of Leuven's physicists in Belgium. Hawking proposed a proposal for the universe's genesis that could answer several long-standing questions. Even though it was his final work, the paper was a final examination of one of his earlier theories. If the JWST proves the existence of the multiverse, the scientists behind it will be strong contenders for the Nobel Prize. Hawking, however, would be ineligible to accept the Nobel Prize because it cannot be granted posthumously. So, what is Hawking's multiverse theory and what did the late physicists say about it? According to the multiverse idea, our universe, with its hundreds and billions of galaxies and nearly innumerable stars spanning tens of billions of light years, isn't the only one. Instead, there could be a separate universe from ours, another, and so on. This mind-boggling hypothesis proposes that there may be an infinite number of universes, each with its own rules of physics, collections of galaxies and stars, and perhaps even intelligent civilizations. So, in a nutshell, our universe could be a small part of a greater collection of universes known as a multiverse. However, because the multiverse implies the existence of doppelgangers or replicas, it becomes, as some could say, creepier. If there are an infinite number of universes but a finite count of possibilities to set particles in any particular universe, the logic goes, then the same patterns are destined to be repeated at some point. That means that there must be a replica of you watching the image of this post at a considerable distance. And because there would be an endless amount of worlds, there must be unlimited precise scenarios co-occurring. What is inflation theory? The multiverse is a concept that appears in a few domains of science and philosophy. However, the inflation theory is one of the most well-known examples. Inflation theory explains a possible event that took place when our universe was only a fraction of a second old. In that short period, the universe went through a phase of tremendous expansion, expanding several orders of magnitude beyond its previous locations. Our universe's inflation ceased some 14 billion years ago. Inflation, on the other hand, does not terminate everywhere altogether. It's possible that while inflation is slowing in certain areas, it's still going strong in others. While inflation ceased in our universe, it is possible that inflation continued and continues today, also in other much more remote locations. Separate universes can pinch off from bigger inflating expanding universes, resulting in an infinite sea of eternal inflation, containing a plethora of distinct universes. Each universe would develop with its own physics, laws, arrangement of forces, particle collection, and values of fundamental constants under this everlasting inflation scenario. This could tell why our universe has the qualities, especially those that are difficult to explain using simple physics, such as dark matter and the cosmological constant. Some scientists believe that the most compelling evidence for the multiverse is the existence of intelligent life capable of making cosmic measurements. They see it this way: certain elements of our cosmos, such as the longevity of stars, the amount of carbon, the sunlight available for photosynthesis, and the stability of complex nuclei, appear to be distinctive and essential for maintaining life. However, if you're given a random universe, none of these characteristics will likely exist there. The multiverse provides one explanation for why all of these characteristics are beneficial in our universe: that other universes exist. We keep an eye on this one since it can host sophisticated life. Hawking, according to Hertog, was dissatisfied with this state of multiverse knowledge, so he invited her to join him in an attempt to manage the cosmos. The duo then set out to create a mechanism for turning the concept of a multiverse into a testable scientific framework. Hawking's final publication proposes a paradigm for comprehending the cosmos to make the multiverse finitely countable and meaningfully engageable using scientific means. Hawking, who helped establish the eternal inflation hypotheses, which led to the concept of endless parallel universes, acknowledged in an interview that he was never a fan of the multiverse.